This is Susan. Age 7½. Her dreams and plans reach beyond time and space to worlds clearly visible only to her. If things were equal, odds are she would find her way. But things are not. Susan has nephrosis. Her physician has started her on a modification of hydrocortisone. We will call this fictitious drug Steroid 47. Steroid 47, a modification of hydrocortisone. That's all Susan has to go on, for the moment. Chances are Susan will never know very much about the pharmaceutical industry, and the industry very little, if anything, about her. And yet there is a serious connection here. Steroid 47 is a life-sustaining drug.
I'm not in. You never heard of me until we get that extra hormone order out of here.
This scene is neither typical nor new to industry-wide experience. A sudden increase in orders has been received. The hormone Steroid 47 is in accelerated demand. And there are deadlines.
Well, tell them we'll speed up production all we can.
Tom, I've told you before, all the equipment is committed.
3 p.m. tomorrow. That's the word from the front office, no matter what. No matter what. Of course, he doesn't mean that literally. Everyone knows that. Well, let's say almost everyone. This is the lab where raw material for Steroid 47 is first examined for identification and assay.
How's it going?
Fine. Identification test checks out.
And the assay?
It takes time. We haven't finished that yet.
Well, then forget about it. There won't be any time.
What? No assay?
It's too late. I've got to get this out on the floor.
Look, give me an hour and a half. An hour?
Can't do. Has there ever been a time when this didn't assay correctly?
No.
Well, then let them check it out in the granulation or the finished tablet or both. I've got 10 people to answer to, and they've all got ulcers.
Raw material for Steroid 47. Identification? Okay. Assay? Assumed correct. Right now, there are other things to think about. The batch sheet calls for 100,000 tablets at a strength of 2.5 milligrams per tablet. That means that the master formula for 100,000 tablets should read 250 grams of Steroid 47. But it just happens that the photocopy of the batch sheet has smudges and spots on it. This one spot could easily be misread as a decimal point.
Hey, Dick, you tell me, what's that say? 25.0. That's what I thought it said. Thanks. Anytime.
Unlikely? Is it? It's happened. In this case, it would have made simple sense to check the master formula and ask the supervisor to recalculate. But when the crowding and the noise of an extra deadline fills the air, when the pressure is on, you'd be amazed at the things that can happen.
Of the whole day fish.
Where's Steroid 47 now?
Being mixed.
Where?
Over there across from number 4.
Wouldn't you say that's a little close?
Normally, yes, but we're up the creek for space. We didn't count on doing this today.
What's in for?
Diethylstilbestrol. I know. Contamination. Cross-contamination.
Well, what about it?
Well, you're looking at it. Is the exhaust up full? We've screened it. I don't know what else we can do unless we cancel the order.
Let's not do that.
Well, where do we go from here? We keep going. You see, my friend, it's a question of profit and loss. Now, that can be read in terms of dollars per people, depending on your point of view. It just so happens that I'm for both. So let's make sure that this gets checked for cross-contamination when it's done. Let's not take chances.
One of the most urgent ground rules in the pharmaceutical industry is the prevention of cross-contamination. But it isn't always followed. There are off moments. Like this, when there's an unexpected log jam in the granulating department. That's when a skirt that has just been used for a batch of diethylstilbestrol can suddenly be used to fill a drum with steroid 47. It can happen when everyone assumes, in the rush to get an order out, that someone else has cleaned the machine and changed the skirt. Before each new run, a thorough cleaning of all equipment, including the tablet compressors, is essential, but not with this brush. It just spreads the residue of the previous batch around. Seems unlikely? Not when a worker hasn't been properly trained, or when the supervisor is girl watching. And so a batch of steroid 47 tablets is being stamped out on equipment that still shows the traces of the previous run. To make certain that all these tablets are of the required weight, this man need only take 10 tablets, say each quarter hour, and weigh them. That's all. And then if they show up light or heavy, he can readjust his equipment. But when you're one man handling several machines, and you're out to meet a deadline, of course, there's always this bit of reassurance to fall back on. Errors can be caught here, in the quality control lab, at the final assay.
We run this for contamination with DES?
I'm glad to. When do you have to have it?
Right away.
This will take at least 3 hours.
3 hours? Forget it. This is for a rush shipment. Just do the assay.
The target, naturally, is the 1/10 strength tablets of steroid 47. Deficient because the weighing department mistook a spot for a decimal point. Will the laboratory detect the error? In doing the assay, the chemist has prepared a solution of the test material for comparison with a known standard.
Wilson speaking. Well, I'm pretty nearly finished. Another 5-10 minutes. Well, I'm doing the best I can. Right.
That telephone call has interrupted his train of thought. As a result, he is using the standard solution a second time. Two solutions, both from the same flask, to be measured in the spectrophotometer. Result: a batch of steroid 47 seriously subpotent goes undetected.
These labels just came in from the printer. Let me see now. Steroid 47 and Stilbest 74. I haven't had a chance to check and count them. Well, forget it. It's too late now. We're all set to go at the filler with the steroid 47 batch. I'm sure the printer must have checked them and counted them.
That's true.
Drug labels are almost always printed outside the pharmaceutical plant. And printing drug labels is usually just a small part of the printer's operation. Remember, he's not in the life protection business. Labels of different products and dosages are often lookalikes and are gang printed. So it's easy to get the labels mixed. Steroid 47. Or is it steroid 47 with a few tablets of Still Best 74 left over from the previous run? Steroid 47, 2.5 milligrams per tablet. That's what it says on the labels. Or is it steroid 47 in a bottle accidentally labeled Still Best 74? You know and I know. But will the pharmacist know? And what of the patient? A batch of steroid 47. Under strength and probably contaminated. Some underweight, some overweight tablets, some mislabeled. All potentially dangerous. The byproduct of ineffective and sometimes non-existent controls. No prescription will ever be filled with our fictional steroid 47. But the poor manufacturing procedures you have just seen have all occurred with real products at different times, in different places, at terrible cost to the public health, to the reputation of the industry, and to its balance sheet.
Lot number 3423. We are recalling the entire lot.
Please discontinue dispensing and send your stock back to our warehouse. You will, of course, receive full credit.
It concerns our product, Steroid 47.
Recently, one company paid out nearly $500,000 to get one defective drug off the
We are
shelf.
recalling all Steroid 47 in lot 3423.
Guidelines exist for error-free operations. It is possible to control the identity, strength, quantity, purity, and dosage of a drug, even in unusual circumstances. Despite deadlines, mistakes are not mystical or self-originating. They have their roots in poor planning, lax supervision, and faulty procedures. Obviously, the manufacture of drugs is a business. Like any other, its purpose is to get its product out and keep the stockholders happy. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of this product, there's a human life. And that changes the ground rules. Susan has nephrosis, a chronic kidney disease. Her survival depends on her doctor and on the total quality control program at the plant which makes her life-sustaining drug. And now Susan and her mother are on their way to the same pharmacy. This time, she will not be stopped short. Her fictitious prescription can safely be filled with her life-sustaining drug. The difference this time will be in quality controls and planning. The difference, too, will be in attitudes of the personnel.
Has there ever been a time when this didn't check?
No.
Then let them check it later in the granulation or the finished tablet or both. I've got 10 people to answer to, and they've all got ulcers.
Look, pal, I've got myself to answer to. This doesn't leave you until we've done the assay.
Quality control means looking for mechanical and human fallibilities and correcting them. Its target is error prevention, double-checking even the most competent people and procedures, and making certain that all manufacturing steps are followed as prescribed. And so quality control's responsibility must be to top management, not production.
Melting point checks out for all 3 lots?
Yes, sir, they're okay for melting point.
So far, so good.
Error-free operations can be ensured by carefully recording, filing, and retaining all records of a production run. Step-by-step compliance with recognized, established, good manufacturing practices required by law is essential to an effective quality control system. Steroid 47. One lot. Raw material number 507 was discovered subpotent and will be removed from the premises. It will never reach the production line. The other 2 lots are okay. The order calls for 100,000 steroid 47 tablets at a strength of 250 grams for the entire batch. The photocopy of the batch sheet is indistinct. That fuzziness cannot be overlooked, even during periods of peak activity.
What's that say? Control number 3423. Not that. That there. 25. 25 what? 25 grams. That's what I thought. But now I'm not so sure. I'm gonna have this checked against the master formula.
Glad you came to me with this. Keep up the good work.
Quality control means following through, all down the line. Who checked the identity of the raw materials? Facilities. Who assigned them? Who cleaned the equipment? Who signed the equipment release?
Where is steroid 47 now? Over there in mixer number 4. What about that order for DES? We'll get to that when we have steroid 47 out of the way, and we'll do it in our isolation area.
Can't we do better than that?
Believe me, we're doing the best.
This is what the start of a new tableting run should look like. The equipment broken down for thorough cleaning. And this is what periodic weighing should look like. Does the theoretical yield agree fairly closely with the actual yield? If it doesn't, something has gone wrong. If it agrees, the next step is quarantine and assay. The final assay should be done separately, on more than one sample from the same batch. Shortcuts should be avoided. Final assay should be conducted only by experienced analysts familiar with the methods and equipment employed in the lab. All calculations should be checked by another competent person. Steroid 47. It is now what it claims to be, and it will maintain its integrity from here on in, if properly bottled, sealed, and labeled. But this phase must not be taken for granted. This is how a finishing operation should start, with a thorough cleaning and inspection of all equipment to be used. Residue, including labels from previous runs, must be eliminated and accounted for. Label accountability means issuing an exact number of labels, counting those that are destroyed, and reconciling this with the amount of finished product. Distinctive labels for different products and potencies reduce the margin for error. The correct number of Steroid 47 labels, properly identified with the right control or batch number, can then be issued. Where the equipment is available, roll labels furnish additional assurance of error-free labeling operation. Steroid 47, 2.5 milligrams, the right strength, the right weight, the right label, the right insert, the product of effective controls, of which the pharmaceutical industry can be proud. This, too, has been a fictitious run, and the procedures a simplification. There are countless other things that can go wrong. But if you think about it, there's many ways to prevent them. And they must be prevented. And if Susan's interests are protected on a total quality control basis, there will be no need for regulatory action. For years, people died at this crossing. Some shook their heads and called it fate. And then someone built an overpass. And now, no one dies here anymore.